Sienna and Rupert. So great to meet you both.
Lovely
You
to meet
too.
you. Hi.
Sienna, you've said about this role that both let me start that again. Sophie's privilege both repelled and attracted you to the role. Can you explain that to me?
Well, I think that there's a lot to condemn about her initially. I think that she's somebody who doesn't have much interest in anybody else's experience. She's got an agenda to marry the right man, to be the perfect wife, to be a great mother, and to have those optics of perfection. And I thought that was interesting to play somebody who was quite unconscious in their own privilege, but who really unravels as the show goes on and ends up as someone on a journey of real self-discovery and exploration. So she's very different at the end to who she was at the beginning. And that kind of arc is always appealing to me.
Rupert, is it true that you initially said no to this role twice? And then when you were asked the third time, you went, okay, I'll do it. Why did you initially say no? And then why'd you go, actually, good idea?
Yeah, it's not just that you have to ask me 3 times to do things, although that does normally work too. Well, basically, obviously, that if you were presented with the opportunity to play someone who's accused of this heinous thing and they're from this very entitled world, it wasn't a world I identified with or had any compunction to be a part of. And in the end, it was the challenge of trying to find a way into the guy who doesn't think that he's ever done anything wrong, and that where that privilege comes from, where that sense of entitlement and lack of accountability might be born.
Given James's power, what Olivia did was really brave. And Sienna, I'm not saying that what you went through was the exact same thing that Olivia went through, far from it, but you took a step in the early noughties to go, do you know what, tabloids, I've had enough. I'm taking you to court and I'm going to make you accountable. When you look back at that time, how do you look back at that? And what do you think of Sienna then? Because that was a massive step, Sienna.
Yeah, I honestly feel really proud of it. It was not pleasant. I would love to have never had to go through that. But I think learning to self-advocate, learning to say that this is wrong and I'm going to do something about it, that was a huge step on a journey that I really look back on with pride, because it was terrifying. Of course, those things are still kind of going on. And but yeah, it was a David Goliath moment, and a lot of people contributed to holding those people to account, and you know, a newspaper was closed because of it, and that was a lot of people's fight, not just mine, but I'm very honored to have been a part of it.
Yeah. Rupert, playing a man like James, it has to bring uncomfortable moments for you. And it must open your eyes to injustices and imbalances that you probably don't know anything about, not because you're ignorant to it, but just because you just didn't know. What were your eyes open to during this?
I think the bravery of people who do fight the tide, who do, like Sienna did, they take on huge, in her case, corporations, entire industries. And she's being modest, but she absolutely spearheaded that whole thing. And all of the young actors and pop singers and stuff coming up will, I hope, have a far easier time of it because of what Sienna did. So the courage that it takes to face either, you know, an institution or a system, whether that be governmental or a patriarchal thing, I think that courage is something that we all should applaud.
Sienna, what do you hope people take from this? It's not an easy watch, but it's a must watch.
You know, it deals with really important issues, and I think that it doesn't sort of lay them out and spoon feed what to think. It shows many people's different memories and experiences and recollections, and it sits in the gray space a lot of the time. And I think that some people will have different feelings about the outcome of the show to others, and that should inspire really healthy debate and argument. It will be polarizing. I hope that it makes people question themselves and look at their own past, and that's all you can really hope for when you're dealing with subjects like this, which are so interesting and so part of the zeitgeist that we're living in right now. It couldn't come out at a better time, and I hope that people it causes people to think. That's the most we can hope for.
Well, thank you to the both of you for getting this conversation started. Lovely to meet you both.
Thank you.
Thanks.